About 2.5 years ago, my hair was unrecognisable from how it looks sitting in front of you right now. It was thinning and incredibly dry and so frizzy. I didn't really recognise it as my own hair, which I guess probably sounds like a bit of a strange thing to say. Didn't matter what products I applied, how I styled it, doing deep conditioning treatments, nothing seemed to make a difference. I even tried having it all chopped off, thinking that that would fix everything. Funnily enough, it didn't. But thankfully, that's not the end of my hair story. Looking back, it's really easy to see why a big restyle didn't solve my hair problems. There were really two key things going on. Firstly, the stuff that I did to my hair, and then the other element I'm gonna call life stuff. And of course, neither of those two things changed just because I chopped all my hair off. So what happened? Well, on the hair side, post-COVID, I had way too many colour treatments in a very short period of time. So a lot of damage was caused by bleach. The more bleach I had, the frizzier my hair got, which meant the more I heat styled my hair, which meant the frizzier it got. So I was on this frizzy hair hamster wheel and I just couldn't get off. On top of that, post-COVID, I had to find a new hairdresser, having been to the same amazing person for 7 or 8 years. Now, unfortunately, I did have a questionable, not so great experience where on my second colour treatment appointment with somebody, I was at the sink and she'd applied the Olaplex treatment that you have done in salon. And I have had Olaplex in my professional colour treatments since it first launched. And so I was sitting at the sink and I kind of jokingly said, "Oh, that's weird. It doesn't smell like Olaplex. I hope I haven't got COVID," because you know how COVID affects everyone's smell. And she then said, "Oh, well, actually I don't use Olaplex. I use a dupe." I was a bit taken aback because at consultation I'd specifically asked, "Do you use Olaplex?" And she'd said that she had. So my hair had gone through 2 rounds of full head bleach highlights without Olaplex, a brand that I had used for so many years and had worked wonders for my hair. And then life stuff. Well, we all lived through the pandemic. We all remember how stressful it was. COVID lockdowns, the fear around it, the stress. For me, I was unable to work for 6 months, which of course created financial pressures. So there was a lot of stress. And then during that period, in September 2020, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and in January 2023, he died. And I won't go into details, but I will just say that grief, there isn't really an adjective appropriate for how massive the impact has on our bodies. And yeah, my hair was no exception. I also turned 40. I'm now 43, so my hormones were shifting. I've started to see more and more grey hair appear. So stack all of those things together and you get an unhealthy hair sandwich. Ugh, gross. Yeah, my hair was really suffering. Sorry about the hair sandwich analogy, that was weird. Now, as often happens, I think, when you are desperate to try and fix something, I made quite a few mistakes. Firstly was me just not recognising the damage I was doing to my own hair through colour treatments and through all of that heat styling. Instead, I somewhat impulsively thought, I know, a complete restyle will be like a factory reset for my hair and everything will be lovely and hunky-dory again. So I went from chest length to chin length hair. And although the cut, I have to say, was amazing, it didn't solve the problem. My hair, of course, was still thinning, fragile and frizzy. It was just now really short. There is a positive part to the experience though, and that is the same hairdresser was also the person who very gently helped me realise that my colour treatments were having a big impact on the state of my hair. He did it very subtly and very kindly. It's not like he turned around and went, "Bloody hell, what have you done to your hair with all this bleach?" It was just enough of a nudge to help me rethink how I was having my colour done. That conversation was definitely a big turning point for me. And later, of course, I'm going to get into exactly what I changed, swapped, started doing, stopped doing, all of those things that actually helped me grow thicker, stronger, longer, healthier hair. I promise that part of the story is on its way. But sadly, there are still a couple of mistakes that I need to tell you about first. The second big mistake I made, well, that was following the curly girl method. Is it curly girl or curly hair? And honestly, again, it seems so blinking obvious now. I don't have curly hair. What was I thinking? It was just pure desperation. I really would have tried anything, I think. It was prompted having come back from a short trip to France while exploring some beautiful destinations, including Saint-Malo and Nantes and Rennes, and I'm sorry for butchering those pronunciations. I was so inspired by the women of France who just seemed to embrace their gorgeous natural waves, curls and hair texture. It was really beautiful to see. I came home completely convinced that I needed to make changes and start embracing my natural texture. I wasn't completely wrong about that. I just took the wrong approach. Luckily, it only took 2 co-washes and the use of, oh, hang on a sec, I had to write this down because I couldn't remember this product name. Yeah, 1 application of Shea Moisture's Jamaican Black Castor Oil Strengthen and Restore Leave-In Conditioner. Yeah, I very quickly realised I don't have curly hair and this method is not for me. Honestly, my hair has never been so greasy, limp and lifeless. So I very quickly knocked that on the head. After that, it was just really silly mistakes. Things like not doing my own reading or research and just accepting advice that I read on the internet. One example, I saw a post on Reddit that said you should only wash your hair a maximum of once per week. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll try that. And of course I ended up with an inflamed, sore, scabby, itchy scalp. Silly mistake, very unpleasant experience. Another one, ditching silicons completely, which meant a lot of my favourite transformative treatment products were now off limits. I now realise that that was actually a really big mistake that I made for my fine, tangle-prone, colour-treated hair. About 8 or 9 months ago, I reintroduced silicons and it has completely transformed my hair, but I am getting to that, I promise. These days, I try just to follow advice from science-backed sources, and most importantly, from my own scalp and hair's feedback. So if I try a product and I end up with a sore, itchy scalp, I immediately stop using that product. If I try a new routine and it takes me 2 to 3 hours to do, no thank you. I do not have the time, patience or desire to spend that amount of time on my hair. I have worked out that above all, my main priority these days is the health and strength of my hair. That matters so much more to me than the volume I achieve, the definition I get, or how wavy or curly my hair looks. It really is health and strength above everything else. It took me quite a long time to get to this point, but the main thing is I got here. And so now let me share exactly what has helped me grow thicker, stronger, fuller hair. Number 1, I significantly reduced heat styling. And if I'm really honest, I guess I do have to thank the curly hair method for that, because they scared me off using heat styling tools. So for about 18 months, maybe even 2 years, the strongest type of heat that I used on my hair was through a diffuser. Now, I am not going to sit here and say to you, you need to stop heat styling your hair, because I don't honestly think that is true. I personally think you can incorporate heat styling into a healthy hair routine. It's just how and when you do it. For example, for me, I used to use a Revlon hot brush on soaking wet hair. I would never dream of doing that now. Instead, I might gently rough dry my hair until like 80% dry and then take a thermal brush through it, which has a very low heat setting. I also will of course be incredibly vigilant with heat protectant. So overall, if you can reduce heat styling, it definitely will help the condition of your hair. But please don't feel like you have to completely drop it from your routine. Number 2 is how I have colour treatments. I have completely changed the way that I approach being blonde. And these days, rather than a full head of highlights, I now have this much more lived-in blonde kind of look. I go a really long time between colour treatments, where I used to probably go every 8 weeks. I have actually gone as long as 6 months between colour treatments, and that is having a massive impact on the health of my hair. So I have a lot less bleach and I have it done a lot less frequently. Another big swap was how I brush my hair. So when it was at its most fragile state, I actually only ever brushed my hair when it was soaking wet, in the shower with a ton of conditioner or a protein treatment or something in it to give it a lovely slippery wet seaweed feel. And I would also only use my tangle teaser to do that. As my hair has got stronger and healthier, I now actually do also brush my hair when it's dry. I would make sure that it's got some slip in first. Either I would be applying an oil, or quite recently at the moment, I'm doing some product testing, trying out loads of different night serums, and I've been brushing those through the ends, particularly of my hair, at night time. So I just make sure there's something in my hair to give it some slip before I then use a tangle teaser. You do want to be gentle when you brush your hair. So that has been how I've helped to reduce damage. Then I have really focused on repairing damage. The first thing I did was regularly introduce protein treatments. If you've got damaged hair, if your hair's dry, colour treated, frizzy, it's very likely to be high porosity. And I think protein treatments can be so transformative. The lovely thing that I found about them was how instantaneous the results could be. It is a journey. Growing healthier, longer, stronger hair is a journey. It sounds cheesy, but it is, because ultimately it's going to take time. But if you can make your hair look and feel a little bit better after using a protein treatment, I think it's really encouraging and it helps you kind of keep going along that journey. Quick couple of recommendations would be Eliza Vecker's protein treatment. It's a brilliant protein treatment, absolutely love it. Budget friendly. Briogio's Don't Despair Repair, fantastic, not so budget friendly, but really good. And then a recent new favourite of mine, Mane Attention from Evo, mind-blowing, so good. Used it today, hair feels so soft, I think it looks shiny. Yeah, brilliant product. After protein treatments would come bond repair. So if protein's gonna give you kind of an instant improvement, bond repair for me is something that you just want to build in on a weekly, probably, basis for ongoing repair. And personally, from my experience, I think it is worth having a couple of different ones, because from my basic understanding, science has never been my forte, but they work on repairing different bonds within the hair. So I actually like using different bond repair treatments that are going to help address and repair different parts of the hair structure. I cannot say enough good things about Olaplex number 3. I have been using that again since whenever they first launched it. K18, if your hair is severely damaged, I used that in the early days of my hair health journey and it was incredible. And then finally, I really love the Redken one, acidic bonding concentrate, something like that. It's one that I started using in the end of 2024, and I feel like that is the point where I really started to notice my hair get a lot longer and a lot stronger. There is another reason for that though, and that is the same point where I introduced silicons back into my hair care. So let's talk about that as we talk about protection. So I think protecting your hair when it's fine, wavy, when it's damaged is so important. Silicons are one of those things that people can get quite passionate about, shall we say. But just in my experience, when I reintroduced them back into my hair care, my hair just started to go from strength to strength. Personally, I find it really helps the texture of my hair. It adds shine, it reduces frizz, and I feel like it's protecting my hair from the elements, UV, brushing, weather, you know, even tying it back in ponytail, that sort of thing. Honestly, I love silicons. I won't ever be giving them up again. But that is just my experience. Sleep protection, really important, and my personal favourite way to protect my hair at night these days is to use a satin bonnet. It's quick, it's easy, it's portable, job done. And to be honest, even if your hair's not damaged, I would highly recommend protecting your hair at night. Leave-in conditioners. This is a step that I just will not drop from a hair routine. Even now, where I wouldn't say my hair is necessarily severely damaged, because I still have colour and because I just feel that as you age, you do naturally lose hydration from your hair and all other parts of your body, I just find a leave-in conditioner is absolutely brilliant, again, for the texture of my hair. I like my hair to feel soft, I want it to be touchable, and a leave-in conditioner will really help do that. And then finally, UV protection. This is not something that I ever considered before this experience, but nowadays I always make sure that I'm protecting my hair from UV exposure. Let's face it, colour treatments these days are an investment. That's my polite way of saying they're expensive. So I don't then want the sun to affect the colour that I've just paid hard-earned money for. Definitely UV protection for hair has become a staple part of my hair routine. I really appreciate you listening to my story today and to making it to this part of the video. I hope that if you have your own hair struggles right now, that my experience has maybe at least made you feel like there's hope and light at the end of the tunnel, and if nothing else, that you're just not alone. I definitely would like to follow this video up with some more practical guides on how to help with hair damage. So routines and product recommendations. So if you think that would be helpful, then please let me know, because, well, really, I make the videos for you. In the meantime though, if you are struggling with fluffy and floofiness, then you may find it helpful to watch this video next, because it is my top 10 product recommendations for fighting frizz. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care. I will see you in the next video. Bye.